Mr. Noisy the Magician by Roger Hargreaves. On this particular morning, a van was driving through the town. It was going towards Mr. Noisy's house. The van belonged to Mr. Music, the musical instrument seller. And what was in his van? Musical instruments, of course, but which ones? Well, you know Mr. Noisy, so you can probably guess. "Wonderful!" cried Mr. Noisy when he saw the van arriving. "Here are my musical instruments. I've always loved making a noise. Sometimes people find me too loud, but now that I'm going to be a real musician, everyone will be so pleased." Mr. Noisy rushed to help Mr. Music unload his van. "Goodbye and thank you," boomed Mr. Noisy a little later as the van drove away. "Pah! Rum! Crash! Crash!" What was the mysterious instrument that was making Mr. Noisy's house shake from top to bottom, and that was forcing little Miss Star to close all her windows to shut out the terrible din? What was the musical instrument that was making Mr. Grumble grumble a great deal? Yes, Mr. Noisy had a drum kit, a very big and very loud drum kit. Mr. Noisy's neighbours were not at all pleased, and Mr. Uppity, who certainly didn't mind speaking his mind, went to call on Mr. Noisy. "Tell me," he demanded, "when are you going to stop deafening us? We've all had enough of your terrible din." "Din," repeated Mr. Noisy, most surprised. "My music? A din? I was hoping to please you all." Mr. Noisy certainly did not want to upset his neighbours, so he asked Mr. Music to swap his drum kit for a less noisy instrument. Strum, strum, twang! Mr. Noisy's house certainly didn't sound much quieter. Can you work out what the new instrument was? Whatever the instrument was, it certainly made a lot of noise. Little Miss Splendid wasn't able to get any beauty sleep, so she decided to pay Mr. Noisy a visit in the morning. "Mr. Noisy," she said sharply, "take a good look at me. Tell me, where have my fair complexion and my bright eyes gone? I'm missing my beauty sleep." "You like my music so much that you can't sleep at night?" asked Mr. Noisy. "I'm so pleased. Do come in and I'll play you a little tune." But no, little Miss Splendid did not like Mr. Noisy's guitar music. Yes, that's right, it was a guitar. And Mr. Noisy, who was hoping to become a famous pop star, was most disappointed. On her way home, little Miss Splendid met Mr. Clever. "My ears are going to explode," she complained. "My face is pale and I have bags under my eyes. And all because of Mr. Noisy's noise. It's outrageous." But Mr. Clever had an idea. An idea that Mr. Noisy liked very much indeed. The next day was a day to celebrate. Not simply because the terrible din had stopped, but also because an orchestra had arrived in town and they were playing wonderful music. And the conductor was none other than Mr. Noisy, who waved his baton in time to the music, in silence.